See Clearly Accounting presents the 22 best tips for accounting your prepaids. In this tutorial, I will not only be going over what prepaids are and the best way to account for prepaids, but also how to memorize transactions and create a report that you can use to manage your prepaids, and then memorize the prepaid report so it can be used again at any time. Lastly, I will be showing you how to reconcile your prepaids and suggest other places you can use these tips. If you would like any more information, please visit our website at www.ccac.com, where you'll be able to find our latest and greatest tips under our 22 tips header. Now let's go over what prepaids and deferred charges are and how they differ. Prepaids are costs incurred for future benefits or services that are amortized over the period of use of such benefits. You're paying upfront for a benefit or service you'll be using over time, such as prepaid insurance. Prepaids do differ from deferred charges. A prepayment is an amount incurred or paid for services not yet received or the benefits of which have not been fully realized, while a deferred charge is for goods or services already received, with the income against which such costs are to be matched and will not be received until a future period. This prepaid report from our files reports the cost, the monthly amortization and prepaid balance as of the report date for each prepaid, and the balance remaining. We can print this each month or whenever we need to view it. The title includes the group that the report belongs to, the account number of the accounts we are reporting, the type of report. If it is for prepaids, make sure that the type of report is GL, and a description of the purpose of the report. As you can see, we chose to print this report by class of prepaid, and in this case insurance. For some prepaids, you see the main class and the subclass because we chose to print the first subclass. Our usual method of describing the purchase is the expiry date and the period the prepaid is effective for. Then we describe the purchase. We want to see the expiry information first. At the bottom of the report we have a total. This total should agree to the general ledger. The report displays all beginning balances of each account, all unreconciled transactions from the day we started to the end day, and the closing balance. Notice the dates. We have no date in the from field, only a date in the to field. The only time you want a date in the from field is if you want to print the amortization for only 1 month. Here are the steps for recording prepaids and memorizing them. All the recording of prepaids is done when you record the initial purchase of the prepaid. As soon as you record the initial purchase, you determine the amortization, write your calculations on the vendor bill, prepare the memorized transaction to record amortization, and then memorize it. Here is an insurance bill for 1-year coverage on furniture. The memo indicates the expiry date, length of the policy, and type of prepaid. When a memo is included, it is repeated in the detail section of your bill. Now we need to create the transaction to record amortization and memorize it. Enter the date of the first amortization entry that you want to record. In the entry number, enter your initials and 001 so that your entry numbers will be unique, even if the entry is processed automatically. The system will increment in the entry number each time it records it. Also, uncheck the adjusting entry box unless it is a year-end adjusting journal entry. Enter the credits to the prepaids account, and enter the debit into the insurance expense account. Make sure you have also entered the name of the vendor, the memo, and the class. Make sure you do not click Save and Close or Save and New. You must memorize the transaction, and then you will have to clear the entry and rely on QuickBooks to process the 12 transactions. Here's how to memorize the journal entry. First, click Memorize. Then type a clear name for your memorized entry. Our policy for naming prepaid classes is to assign the prepaid to a group. Each group starts with PD for prepaid, and to assign a subaccount name that starts with the expiry date and continues with details, usually the vendor and the product. Click Automate Transaction Entry and select how often you would like the transaction to be recorded, the next date, the number remaining, and the days in advance to enter. Click OK to memorize the transaction. Then click Clear to clear the entry you created then memorized, so that it will record for 12 months and not 13 months. Here's how to create and memorize a report so it's available whenever you need it. But before we begin setting up memorized reports, we need to create a memorized report group so we can save our report somewhere once it's memorized. Click Reports, scroll down to Memorized Reports and click Memorized Report List. Click on the Memorized Report icon and create a new group. Key in P or PBC, Reports Prepared by Clients for Accountants. You'll also want to create another group and name it PD, Prepaids and Deposits. Now we have to create and customize the report. Click Reports, scroll down to Accountants and Taxes, and click Trial Balance. Double-click the account you would like to report on. In this case, I'll be using number 14,050. Once you open it up, you'll see the report that was created. Now, we have to customize it. First, we have to set up the header since it's the objective of what you're going to print. Click Customize Report, Header Footer, Report Title. Then key in the report title. In this case, it is P14050 GL Prepaid Expenses Total by Class. If you're preparing a report to use for your working papers, we suggest that they be included in the P or PPC Memorized Report group and that you add your index to the end, in this case, L1. Now we need to fix up the display a bit. First, click the Display tab that's on the top. Now we want to remove the from date so you can see the history of your prepaids, both the purchases and the amortizations. The report displays more columns than you need to see. Remove the columns that you don't need, such as left margin. We can make this easier by sorting the columns by name. Click the down arrow twice. You'll want check marks beside balance, credit, date, debit, memo, name, number, and type. Now we want to filter the report so the only information we see is the information we want to see. Click the Filters tab on the top. Now scroll down on the Filter section and select Cleared. Choose No. You don't want to see the transactions that have already cleared. Click OK to view the report. We want to see the totals by class. Click the Expand button, then click the drop-down menu and select Class. Now we want to make the column and row labels bold and slightly larger. Click the Fonts and Numbers tabs at the top, column labels, and change font. Change the font to one that you like. Do the same things for the row labels. Make sure that when it asks you if you'd like to change all related fonts that you click No. Click OK. You have now completed your report, but you will probably want to use this report again. So make sure you memorize it and save it into the P or PPC Memorized Report group. Then rename it and save it again into the PD report group. Now on to reconciling your prepaids. Make sure you do this only at the end of the fiscal year. Make sure you don't do this before then or you'll lose your tie-in for your expense accounts and the amortization of your prepaids. Click Banking and then click Reconcile. Choose the prepaids account. Choose today's date as a statement date and set the ending balance to 0. Reconcile each prepaid separately. Now check off the amortizations of the prepaids until you have them all ticked for the prepaid purchases that you are reconciling. The final difference should be 0. Click Reconcile now. If you have more prepaids and purchases you want to reconcile, do them one purchase at a time. Due to rounding, you won't always have a balance that ends in 0. Our preferred method to deal with this is to record another amount of amortization equal to the difference in the current month because we've already closed our prior year, and the last month we prepared financial statements for. To clear the ending balance, create a journal entry with a credit to prepaids and a debit to the expense. Thanks for watching the 22 best tips for accounting for prepaids. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@ccac.com or call us at 604-267-0411.